We're going to open the meeting at 4:03 p.m. Again, this is the Townsend Finance Committee. We're going to call the meeting to order and need a roll call vote or roll call attendance.
Gerald Bazikas,
Mark Hussey.
Andrea Wood.
And Don Hayes with and we have one other person on the phone. It's coming in as Alexandrette. That somebody we should know.
That's the name of Sam Grant's daughter.
Okay,
oh,
so
Maybe that's Sam.
that could be
Sam.
Sam. Sam, you're on mute. If you'd come off mute.
You unmute him.
Just ask him to unmute. We can't
Yeah.
force him, I don't think.
He may not know.
Yeah, Sam, in the lower left of your computer, there should, or in the Zoom, there's a little microphone. And it will probably have a red
Unmuted.
slash through it. Oh,
Anybody live there now?
There we go. He's live.
we have you, Sam. Okay, and could you let me know your name for the roll call?
My name's Sam Grant, and Don, I'm gonna have to leave here in about half an hour for 5 minutes or so to unhook the horses, but I was just getting up, doing that and coming back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, and for everyone else, this meeting is being recorded as well as being broadcast on the local TCAM channel. And next item, at this point, additions or deletions, I have nothing additional to the agenda that we have in front of us. Anything from the committee that needs to be added?
I have nothing.
Okay. Nothing being heard, we'll go into the work session. And the first item we put on the work session is a reserve fund transfer request for the town hall elevator repair. It's the town hall elevator needs updates to be compliant. And it needs to be done by the end of December, I believe, before they shut it down, which would shut down any access to the second floor for accessible. And if we look at the next item, which is or the third item, which is the town meeting warrant, there is a warrant on that for $8,000 for that. Because that may not pass, or we may not have the free cash verified by that time. We're coming in with this reserve fund transfer to pay for it from the FinCom account or the reserve account that we have.
How much do we have in there?
We have $40,000 in there. We haven't issued
Haven't been any requests.
any requests yet.
Yeah.
This is the first request.
Mm-hmm.
And it was for, I can't find it's $7,990.
7,992.
92 right now. So that's the request, and the reason we're doing it is to again, this is known money. We have it, and it's an emergency to repair so that we can allocate it in enough time, because the other is unknown.
And then we fix it and they shut it
And-
down. So
Right, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, they came in, they did an inspection, it failed the inspection, but it didn't fail for anything that was an immediate public safety
Right.
risk.
so you got a 90.
So they gave us time to say, hey, you can fix it, but as of the end of December, that time will be up and it will be shut down until.
So that's a pretty old system like that. Yes, anybody know that?
I don't know.
I'm just
for
wondering what
sure.
we got next coming up, that's all.
well,
It is old, but we up until now, I don't know why we don't have it. We had a contract for continuing maintenance,
Yeah.
and so
We
it
still
should
do.
be in pretty
Do we?
good shape.
Yeah, we have a contract for continuing maintenance. This item is not covered under our contract.
Okay, good. I see.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
That
That's
would be
not unusual,
a
so.
retrofit to the existing unit so that it can be compliant. And those are not generally covered. At this time, I just want to continue the discussion. What I'd like to do is keep it and vote it in the warrant, but if we vote in the warrant on the floor, change it, that $8,000 or 7,992, a specific number pays back the reserve. We are 40,000.
Although that only makes sense. I mean, if
Yeah.
it gets approved on the warrant, or that there's a vote to have this transfer effective the day after the town meeting in the
Mhm.
event that the warrant is, I will tell you, we have been given indications from the state that our free cash will not be certified by the town meeting, which is why this is.
Right, and I think I'm perfectly okay with that. It's just we are a little somewhat early in the year,
Sure.
so I would like to try to make that account whole. So that would be my only piece of this is having that discussion that we don't do take no action on that article. We take action, but change it from paying it to a transfer.
So there's no waiting time. We can get the.
We can get the repair started.
Right,
Um,
exactly. I agree with that.
And then there.
I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Okay, so that's how we'll
Yeah.
proceed.
So it's gonna be done on town meeting floor.
I don't know if that would work.
Okay.
Because the article was printed for a specific purpose.
Hmm,
And it's
right.
not to reimburse us. It was
Okay.
to get it repaired. There should be a substitute article to reimburse the reserve fund for X amount of dollars. I don't think it'll hold up in the state if you do it this the way you're talking.
Well,
One-
what I'll do is I'll just check with town council and make sure that we figure out the right way to do it.
Great, thank you.
And then we'll know on the night, assuming we have free cash to do anything with,
Right.
how to do it.
Would we do it possibly not to exceed an amount that they really?
Well, we actually have a contract,
Right.
Okay.
so we have
Okay.
it was an
There was a
attachment.
purchase, yeah, there was an attachment for the work to be done. So it's,
That's nice, but then it does bring up the thought that we actually did have a contract with Melanson and Heath and it cost more money.
this was a quote after the inspection. So I think it's a little less variable than the Melanson.
Yeah, our Melanson contract specifically was not not to exceed contract, and they just gave us an estimate, and it was an hourly contract.
In the letter from Melanson that formed the contract, they said not to exceed. But then apparently it did exceed and they want the money from us. I don't understand that whole deal anyway.
So I don't have that in front of me. I can certainly double check that.
Yeah.
That's, but
Okay, so at this point, I'd like to bring it back to the reserve fund transfer request to repair the town hall elevator. Are there any other questions regarding the request for the reserve fund transfer? Any other, no other discussion, are we ready for a vote to vote on the reserve fund transfer of $7,992 for the town hall elevator repair?
Do we need a motion
We
for
need a
that?
motion to,
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we transfer $7,992 from the transfer account to fix the elevator.
okay, and a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mark. If there's no other questions, then roll call vote, please.
Jerome Zekas, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
And Don Hayes, yes.
May I ask who the reserve fund transfer is for?
The account?
It's to the accountant? Okay, thank you.
No. I was, the question was, are you asking what account is it going to?
No, yes.
Going
applied?
into,
Who applied for the transfer?
I mean, I filled out the paperwork.
Okay,
The facilities department is the one who it's going into a facilities account, repair and maintain equipment.
thank you.
So I have an original here. Do you want me to?
Yeah,
just for
it's
you to-
kind of, I'll sign it on,
Okay,
yeah. and, drop it off.
Great.
And make copies.
Did you need
Okay.
me here for the rest of it?
If, maybe real quick, update on
sure.
the budget software.
Oh, sure.
Um, it just do, it's kind of like if we're still, don't have any dates. Not everybody's been here. There's going to be training on the new software package that is going to be used for preparing the budget this year.
Yes.
And so I guess, if we don't have, do we have an approximate time frame so that everybody can prepare and clear and have?
I don't, unfortunately. I don't have a specific time frame yet as for when training for the FinCom would be. But
Mhm.
as soon as we come up with dates, I'll let the chair know.
Has there been a delay in rolling out the,
No, it's just a matter of just a lot of data and
okay,
so
yeah, sure, yeah.
we're still, they're going through the final mapping of the data right now. And once we have live data in the system, then we're gonna start to get trained on it. And we haven't laid out specifically who's gonna get trained. I mean, I'm probably gonna be one of the first people to be trained,
Mhm.
but I think it's gonna be different cohorts that are gonna be
Right, yeah.
trained on it.
And again, it is different training for different people because there's different functions.
Yes,
Most of.
Will it be
finance-
virtual or in person?
virtual,
Mhm.
virtual training.
Okay, so.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Jerry Lynn.
But I mean, we might be able to do something here where we.
With
have
the
it
group,
project- with the group.
if we're all supposed to be trained, we can sit here and.
Yeah,
We can sit here,
Work
we-
together if need
Right,
be.
right, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we'll see what's
Have a person do
available
that,
for a room
right.
to be able to do that.
Right, but I will definitely, as soon as there's dates available, I'll get in touch with Dawn and make sure that,
Okay, sounds
that you
good.
guys can do that.
And, then I guess one more question on the article that I had sent in the question about the amount.
Yes. I think I sent you.
Yeah, you did. I'm good with the reply, but then I looked at the transfer. It says, that it looks like it was moving, the move was to selectmen rather than I would have expected.
Which article we're talking about, John?
It's Article 4
Okay.
on this,
Yeah,
the amount is sitting at 28,258 and
Right.
says the Department was Recreation. And now it says Department Recreation from the Selectmen. I didn't know if it's maintenance, should it be actually moving to facilities?
yeah, and so I'll be honest with you, town council is the one who put together this chart, so I apologize, I didn't check with
Yeah.
Avalon about why. he put
Okay.
Selectmen. It may be because it's going over multiple departments, it's gonna be facilities, it's the one in charge of it, but it's also on recreation building
Right.
still.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether he decided that was the reason why he wanted to just kind of pull it up a level to the selectmen,
Okay.
but I mean, it's gonna be recreation and facilities are gonna be the two
Yeah.
entities that will be.
Working on it. Okay, that's fine. That was.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's really all that.
Okay.
I had for now.
Great.
Okay, and again, any financial articles on here? Are they all contingent on free cash
5 through 11.
5 through 11? Okay,
Yeah, all the other articles are non-free cash related, but numbers 5 through 11 are all related to free cash, so,
okay,
those ones would not be going forward if the free cash is not certified.
perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
let you
Yeah.
probably prepare for your next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, let me call it. I did mail, Andrea and Sam, I did mail out, a link to the warrant on the town website. I don't know if you have it up or if you'd rather that I share my computer and we read through the articles. Here we go. So,
Don Hayes, link to warrant articles.
now I can share on my computer if we'd prefer.
Well, I've got plenty of screens here to play with, 3 others besides the one I'm looking at. So, yeah.
Okay. Hold up. So just to enter the warrant up. Okay, so we are past items 1 and 2 in the work session, and we're moving into item 3, which is the prepare recommendations for and votes for the special town meeting warrants that is scheduled for next week on the 13th at 7 p.m. in the Great Hall. So quickly, if I switch over to that, first article is just to see if there were any reports from boards or committees. There's no real financial there. What I thought maybe I would introduce that we had provided a recommendation sheet with some information to it so that if anybody didn't have it, they could read it as they approach the articles going forward. Is there anything else the finance committee would like stated to the town at that point? Or is that just enough that we fill in the recommendation sheet and provide that as information to those entering the hall?
I believe we're required to provide the sheet.
Okay, yeah. Okay, and if based on the meeting we have today, I will prepare the sheet and have it done and probably ask for a review of it just to make sure that I have picked up everything. Okay, that's it for Article 1. We will definitely have it. We'll do that. I didn't know if there was anything else that we need to announce, unless it's that there's an opening and we would appreciate anybody stepping forward to join us. Maybe that's a good thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Try to do that. Okay, Article 2, current fiscal year financial articles. Article 2 is to see if the town will vote to appropriate the PEG access receipts reserved account equal to 5% of Comcast gross revenues for the fourth quarter to Townsend Access Community Media. So this is just the partial transfer for April to June to TCAM and to fund TCAM. And it is not my notes that I had started to take and write down. This is not tax revenue. This is strictly from Comcast gross revenues, and is really no impact on the tax bills or tax rates.
Same as like the water department.
When you write this up, it probably would be a nice point if you pointed out that it isn't tax money to the
Okay,
public.
yeah, that I will get that in there. I think that's important. Exactly, an important item for the townspeople to know when they're voting. It's kind of like so I will get that on there.
I have a question. Does Comcast have a lock on our town?
They have a contract with the town.
And so nobody else can come in?
Well, I mean, if Verizon wanted to put in the FiOS fiber optic network, I don't think there's I don't know if there's a way to stop them. Much like Direct and Dish TV, there's alternate cables. We don't have the ability or agreements with them to get some of their revenue that they're getting from the town. So because cable is
We have Yeah, it's hardwired, I understand. And so you're saying that they have a contract that because they're hardwired, they have access to the town. They pay a fee for such access, which is what we're allocating right now. But that doesn't keep anybody else from coming in and joining the club of paying a fee to be part of it. Correct?
Correct. It's kind of like, and yeah, and parts of it are as they join, as we had the ARPA money, additional, it funded some extensions of the Comcast network. So we paid Comcast to extend to additional homes because some people in the town, there's areas in the town that aren't wired in. But
Right.
with ARPA and accessibility, we use that to hook more people in the town up to Comcast. So we continue to do that. I don't know when that contract would be up for. There is a cable committee that will be negotiating that contract and working on it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Article 3. This one, to see if the town will, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't take a vote. For the Finance Committee, do we recommend that the town approve this? Oh, yeah, I guess I need a motion for the Finance Committee to recommend or not recommend Article 2.
All right, I'll make a motion to appropriate from the PEG Access Receipts Reserved Account funds equal to 5% of Comcast gross revenues for the fourth quarter of FY 2022, April to June of 2022, and authorize the Board of Selectmen and Town Administrator to expend and distribute said funds to Towns and Community Access Media Incorporated. Okay. Is that it?
I may not have been clear. From the Finance Committee, are we going to recommend this article to?
So we
So
don't need a motion? or-
We need a motion
Oh, okay,
to-
all right.
to say-
So I recommend that we,
that the Finance Committee recommend this pass.
okay, that would be my motion.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay. Roll call vote.
Jerome
Please.
Brazil, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes?
Andrea Wood, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
Don Hayes, yes. All right, so let's see if I can. All this up. Right, sorry, I'm trying to get a file going here to record these income recommendations. On Article 2, we're saying that was unanimous and 5-0, we're recommending. Article 2. Let me see if I can share on Zoom this time. Zoom. Share. I'm sharing everything. Just started to pull this together. Finance Committee and the vote, we voted 5-0, to vote for. I was, again, just starting to throw ideas together. Article 3, to see if, Article 3 is going over, to see if the town will vote for, Article 3, I gotta move down. To see if the town will vote to amend under Article 15 of the May 3rd, 2022 annual town meeting warrant, changing the sum allocated to capital stabilization fund. And we had a line and it changed, $10,000. And so if we go back and look at the,
Go down?
if we don't have the details behind this here, I would like to throw it in to what we provide. At the annual town meeting in May, we had 5 or 6 lines that had been prior annual town meeting and special town meeting articles, and there
Right.
was money left over after the projects were done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we took that money and said, vote that money into capital stabilization. After that time, one of the lines, somebody came in with an additional charge to that line.
Oh,
So it reduced the amount. This article is correcting that so that we had less money available to move into capital stabilization.
oh, we're $10,000 less.
It was $10,000 less moved to capital stabilization
What was
because,
that, do you know?
Was it? Yeah, and why?
I'm just curious.
okay, hang on, let me,
It was $10,000.
I know.
Yeah.
$10,000.
it was, it's kind of like, so I don't, let's see, I'm gonna go to, okay. I had it downloaded yesterday, but it's kind of like, so. We're gonna go to town clerk. Sorry, it's kind of, voting election times. Here, we're gonna go to special town meeting. And that was May of 2022. And so when we look at this article, these, can you see on the phone? Where I am, sorry, it's kind of like, now you have to look at my sharing screen because this is not in the information yet. So if we look at this, we had five lines of money that was allocated that wasn't fully used
Correct.
for those. And so this one is the 21,775. So the retroactive salary adjustments. So we had in May 8th of 2021, there was a vote at town meeting to pay retroactive salary adjustments of 21,000, or there was at the time 21,775 in that line. After that, there was about $10,704 was paid for retroactive salaries. So
Salaries or salary?
I think it was salaries. It's kind of like, because this was the salary adjustments that had been promised, and we took originally, I think the article was, we took it from free cash and
So what was
moved
said
it.
back in June is now not being done until now. Is that correct, Susan?
no.
Or it's
So,
been done?
okay, so this, when they went to move this money,
Right.
there was $10,000
Okay.
less.
All right,
And so this is to clean that article, and get the amounts right. So
okay,
they tried to move 21,775, there was only 11,071
Right.
in there to move. So this is to go back and fix, that amount.
okay.
Is that clear to anybody? Is it clear as mud?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had both, yeah, it's kind of like, so there was that. We thought there was 21,000, there was only 11,000, and, so this is
How
fixing
did
the line.
how did we come to that conclusion?
It was, last year was hectic
It
getting,
was, yeah.
getting there. The town administrator at the time was looking for money. He went
Oh,
out
okay.
and looked at all of the old special town meeting and annual town meeting amounts that were
I
still
remember
out
this
there
now,
on the
yeah.
expense.
Yeah.
And he found these and thought they were all closed.
Yeah, I remember this now.
And so we put that on there thinking there was the
Right.
21,000 to move. When they went to implement it, there was only the 11,071 in the
Right.
account.
Okay.
So this would be going back and
Correction.
correction to it, and so it's 10,000 less in the capital stabilization fund.
Correction. Okay,
What I don't understand is how we closed out the books in 16 and 18 when they have these big outstanding amounts.
They don't, the books are balanced. It's like an outstanding check in your checking account. you know it's out there to be paid. And so you hold it and carry it through and you check your balance. If we look at the current expense, control report, we will still see some of the other articles that we didn't think were closed are on there. And so we're carrying several of those forward, on the books.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like, we don't use them in the year we allocate them, they're out, and if we don't use it, they're out there. And that's why I thought it was good that, the town administrator did the work, he brought all of them there. I can check with Eric and see if he's got the rest. And we can go out there and continue to monitor them, check with the department heads, and if there are any that are closed and they're not gonna use the money, we can do a similar thing, moving forward, at the annuals. I think is probably the best place to do it.
So in the years 16 and 18,
Mhm.
somebody brought the monies left over from articles automatically, if they're not used, and it's all right with them, they go into free cash.
Mhm.
So somebody in 16 and 18 earmark that money, or I don't know, I don't, is, this is new money this year's, or what year
I don't think it's 16 and 18.
There's a couple that are 16 and
are the
18.
16 and 18 being paid from?
That,
Oh,
if, it's.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring up this trouble.
No,
but
but if we're not clear, how can we explain it to the town?
True.
Townspeople. So.
If
we
they
need to-
ask.
Yeah, right, if they ask, they may not, but, again, these are older articles that we said there was an amount, and we said, we're gonna allocate this amount, and
we thought it was there.
we set it aside.
Right.
Until that balance goes to zero in the books by the accountant, those continue to ride forward year over year.
Right.
So there's money in the budget that has been allocated. And it's almost like if you have a savings account on the side that you say, oh, this is the amount I'm gonna pay, I'll put it over here, and when I use it, I use it. And so each of these articles has a line and an account number that's associated with that dollar. So when the department head uses the money that was allocated for that purpose, the accountant will deduct it from that account. If they don't use the total amount, that amount continues to ride forward on the books as ready for that purpose that was approved in the prior year annual town meeting or special town meeting. So if there may be, and I know there are more out there, there were, I think, about 25 older ones, but these were the specific ones that everybody thought, or the department heads thought they were closed. So there are more out there. It's just carrying that balance forward, knowing that it was allocated for a particular purpose voted by the town. And it will continue to hold out there until we go back and check and see, was that complete? So would it be part of free cash? I don't think it would be considered free cash because, it's been spoken for. It's out there, so it's a balance being held forward. It's almost like an accounts payable. It's not an accounts payable because it's allocated money that you didn't want to use for any other purpose.
It's assigned money that hasn't gone to zero yet.
It's assigned money that hasn't
Hasn't gone
been
to zero.
totally, yeah.
Okay.
So there comes a point where it will never be used, or it might,
And
when the
that's
project is
with-
falling apart, or,
Right.
or after 5 years, maybe the project isn't gonna happen.
Mhm.
That's where we need to have an annual review during budget.
And during the review, this is what showed up.
This is what showed up for the older ones. And that's why I say next, as we get into next budget season, we should do that.
Did we at one time discuss not letting that or being able to try to use that money at some point and put it into free cash or?
Well, that's what this article did. At
Okay.
Annual town meeting
Yeah,
is they went to department heads and said, are you going to use this money for this project? And they said, no, that's done.
and then it
So,
would go to free cash.
and then it would normally go to free cash.
Yeah,
In this case, it was specifically allocated to go to capital.
okay, okay, yeah, okay.
Well,
all
then
right, okay.
if it was designated to go to another place, how then could someone take out money from it to use
What was
I'm-
over?
the
Um,
11,000?
I would probably need to talk to the town accountant and see, was it,
I think you have to talk to council.
Maybe not recorded.
yeah, it
Correctly.
may not have been recorded correctly. They may have found it during closing of the books
Yeah.
this year that it was misallocated. So we need to see what,
Well, we had quite a time for a while when we were absent a lot of people.
Mhm.
So This may,
there was, and there was also some. I think
But
it was,
if-
I think it was at the annual or the special, we had, I believe it was highway labor that we had to do the retroactive salaries for, so it may have been for that line. And that's what we may have done. So it was out there, we looked at it at that point in time, whether it was, the mid to late April. And we may have taken that extra money to pay additional retroactive salary. Because
How-
I do remember that we had missed some people in the, when we picked that up.
Money that's left over in
Mhm.
free cash or available funds has to be voted. How can we do this money when we don't have that cleaned up yet? I mean, we've not been certified by the state.
Um, yeah, and again, this money isn't free cash. It was allocated money. And it was unused allocated money. So I think that's different than free cash. It's not like an account where, say for office supplies, we put it in 1,000 and only used 800.
Okay,
It's
so
not-
these were just old articles that were sitting around.
Correct.
And they finally closed them out and now they're doing something with them. Is
Right,
that it?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is separate from free cash.
I
So-
thought, though, that the money had to go to free cash, and when you had money left over in accounts, that it had to go to free cash and then be voted out of there into whatever purpose, but
Hey, yeah.
a lot of things were true a long time ago that are not
Mhm.
true now, and I can't say that I've always kept on top of it, so I'll go along with this being fine.
Sorry, I just had to step away and get a pen. I forgot to take a pen. So I can take them. Whether it's, yeah, it's kind of like we need to confirm with accountant whether we can do that or if it's got to move to free cash before we can then move it somewhere else. Okay. Okay, so,
we have to make a motion or anything on that? leave it over there or what?
I suppose we can make a contingent motion that, after discussion with, town accountant, of the appropriateness of this move in moving the, that these amounts don't have to move to free cash, before allocating them to another.
I think if you do it that way, I think maybe we should just put faith in the selectmen and say, ask them to look into it. But if we make a confusing recommendation, it's very likely to get either turned down or just cause confusion that is unnecessary. So whatever your statement is has to be pretty clean cut, not after we look into.
Okay.
So that we should just let the selectmen make the determination on this? or-
Yeah, I looked back to these articles, and so this is submitted by the Board of Selectmen, so I think to Andrea's point that the Board of Selectmen should have looked into whether this was the proper accounting. Or is that, which is, and we are just recommending to adjust the balance, to agree with the adjusted balance that was transferred to capital stabilization.
And again, in our recommendation, we should let the public know that this isn't new tax dollars.
Right, okay, yep, okay, yep. Yep, perfect, and yeah, it's kind of, and that's tonight also, just so that everybody's aware, there's, the assessor will be coming in and setting the, final tax rate this afternoon, or this evening. Okay, so do we have a motion to recommend, that this article?
Are we
Yes.
recommending it to be determined by the selectmen to the proper accounting?
No, I think to be clear that we would recommend to the town that this article pass and the appropriate accounting based within the article is,
Can I just say so moved?
I do believe.
I've heard that a lot. I'll second that.
Okay, and you want clarity on that motion, Andrea?
I'm sorry.
Okay, I had sort of proposed some language and Jerome, said so moved. That the motion would be that the finance committee approve, the accounting associated with the activity described in this article.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, and.
I did second that.
And Mark had seconded, and so now it would be voice vote.
Jeremy Mazigas, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
Don Hayes, yes. Computer's locked up, so I'll do that. Okay, now, I was gonna say, we're gonna probably we've got 40 minutes to go. Article 4, to see if the town will vote to reallocate $28,258, some voted under Article 9 of the May 7th, 2019 annual town meeting. And there's a from account, and it was recreation for recreation building roof replacement. And the dollars listed here, again, for FY 20 was 28,258, and the funding source was from the capital stabilization fund. The move is to take that $28,000 and move it, and we're gonna need to clarify, it says recreation selectmen on the department. It would more than likely be facilities repair and maintenance, because it's gonna be for repair and maintenance of the recreation. It's just moving it from recreation to facilities account, or board of selectmen if they thought it needed to be at a higher level to manage that repair.
Is that amount going to remain the same?
Okay, so, yeah, so that is remaining the same. When I went back and looked at the original article, that they described, Article 9 of 20, that article allocated 50,000 for the
Oh.
repair of the roof. So this is the remaining balance from 50,000. So this is, so they still, what they want, what in,
Did
My-
they do any of it?
they did the roof, but now they want to, and I
Take
don't,
leftover and do.
take the leftover and
Yeah.
do additional repairs
Oh.
on the recreation building.
Okay,
So that's what the gist
so
of
it's
this,
additional repair.
yeah, so this is additional repair, but they're taking the money from the recreation
From the-
department and reallocating it to a department that's more,
Town hall repairs by the works.
right, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that where it's going to?
Well, it's coming into facilities
Okay.
department,
Into
because
facilities.
facilities is responsible for all buildings.
Okay,
It's kind of, and then it will be allocated from there.
all right.
So again, for clarity, this is no additional tax dollars. And it is a reallocation of money similar to the one we just talked about, only this is still being carried on the books. We didn't move it. And so it's just moving from
Just one thing.
one place to another
Yeah.
in the accounting, and I'm sure that's to help the accountant. It does say it was submitted by the Board of Selectmen. I suspect it was at the request of the town accountant that it be more appropriately allocated in the expense structure. Okay, and again, like I say, when I saw the amount and voted, I said, if anybody goes back and looks at that original article, they're gonna see 50,000 and wonder where the other 21,000 and change went. So that's why I wanna make sure in our recommendations, we discuss that the original article was 50. This is the remaining balance,
Balance.
that is gonna be used for additional repairs on the recreation building. So, any other questions on Article 4?
No, that looks fine to me.
All right, maybe I'll make a recommendation that we make a motion that we recommend the reallocation of $28,258 as written in Article 4 from recreation building roof replacement to recreation building stairs, town hall roof and exterior repairs maintenance.
Second that.
Okay, so we had the motion and a second. Any additional discussion, questions? None being heard, a roll call vote, please.
Gerald Mazeikis, yes?
Mark Hussey, yes?
Andrea Wood, yes.
And looks like Sam may have stepped away for just a minute. And Don Hayes, yes. Do we, that is still a quorum. Do we want to note that Sam stepped away for just a bit?
I'll note that, or it really doesn't matter as long as you have a quorum vote.
Right, okay, yep. Very good. Okay, now,
So number 5 is done, right?
Article 5 is not necessarily done. we can talk about it. It's sort of on hold. Or if,
I thought we made a motion.
well, we took, that was for the reserve fund transfer.
Okay, no.
So right now, because the next set of articles, starting at Article 5, and maybe I'll give it a minute, see if Sam, I know Sam said, just 5 minutes to walk down the horses, and we'll give that just a minute. Actually, we don't have a quorum right now, so Mark stepped out of the room too, so we'll hold off on just a minute.
We don't have time to meet again.
Hmm?
We have time to meet again. We're not gonna get through that article.
I think, I'm hoping we can start.
Oh,
I'm hoping we can start moving. It's kind of like, well, one of this, when you get to
um,
starting at Article 17, we get to. And if we don't get through it and we need to, then we'll try to schedule something. We need 48 hours to get Zoom and post it. We can't, it's.
We actually don't have to make any recommendations past 11. Because that's the end of the
Right.
money articles.
Well, the water articles are 13, 14,
no, this time.
and 15 and 16.
Oh,
The- Well, they are being presented, they are money, but in most of it, it is. it's
no,
moving
you're absolutely right. I was just going by what Eric had said earlier, that the money articles were 5 through 11.
Oh, no, okay,
Sorry.
so 5 through 11 require the certification of, free cash.
In our yes, in our tax dollars, where the water department is, a different category.
It is, it's kind of like, but Articles 5 through 11 require that free cash be certified by the meeting in order to do these.
Right.
So, I guess the question, and we don't know, we don't think that the state will certify free cash, but we should be ready, maybe ready for it just in case. So,
We have 40,000, is that what you said? Okay.
we have 40,000 in reserve fund,
Reserve fund, okay.
Yeah. so, that's this year's budget for us to use.
40,000 minus
Minus the-
7,992.
Right, yeah, so right now it's sitting about 32,008. It's kind of, so that's why, and again, Article 5. So I guess the question would be, do we want to move to Article 12 because that does not require free cash to be certified? Or do we just want to go through these articles quickly and see if we can determine how we want to, whether we want to recommend if free cash is
If free
certified.
cash is available.
Well, when
Yeah.
we went over them last week, they went fairly fast. So I shouldn't think going through 5 through 11 would take very long.
I
I
don't,
agree.
okay, so we'll start with Article 5 to see if the town will vote to appropriate from free cash or other available funds in the treasury, the sum of $8,000 for the purpose of repairing town hall elevator. So from this, we had the discussion earlier, because we are paying this bill from reserve fund,
Yeah,
I would like to replenish reserve fund, so we are gonna take no action on Article 5 and see what town council says for a motion or an article to replace this, to refund us into the reserve fund. So I don't know that there's what I described makes sense.
Yeah, it
to
does.
everybody,
Mhm.
okay?
We're looking for a refund if free cash is available.
If and when free cash is
Right.
available.
Exactly.
So on Article 5, and maybe we'll do that to the town, just so that they know what we're doing, and explain it to them that,
It's a
it's,
necessity.
it's a necessity and it will have a tax, it will have a tax impact because we took this money from someplace that is gonna be from the tax dollars.
Yeah.
But we're not doing additional taxes from the amounts already assigned. Okay, do we, because this is sort of a replace, I guess the motion would be to, recommend the town, the finance committee would recommend taking no action on Article 5 as it stands and looking for a replacement of the monies that were
Yeah.
provided to repair the elevator. Okay.
Do we need to vote on this? We're just
I-
running through it with it.
I think so. I think we should, because if free cash does get certified,
Yeah.
the town will be voting on it. So,
Okay, I'll make a motion to take no action on Article 5 to see if we can that we get refunded for the money that'll be taken out of, what fund was that? I'm sorry.
the finance committee reserve fund.
Finance Committee Reserve Fund. We're looking to get
As the
reimbursed.
article is written, you can't.
No, and that's what we're saying. Eric said he would talk to town council and see. So we're not saying change this to reallocating this $8,000. We're talking about replacing it or finding a way at town meeting to bring it up that the reserve fund is made whole again. So that we have other places to use it.
I'll second that.
Okay. So we're looking to take no action on Article 5 as it stands and to look for replacement article, town council's advice to create a replacement that replaces the money into the reserve fund.
Correct.
Okay, and that was the motion
Seconded it.
and made and seconded. And town council is gonna be the one that has to make it legal and make sure that it follows all the rules for us, but that would be the motion in the second. Any additional discussion or questions? Okay, with that,
Cheryl Mazik is yes.
Mark Hussey, yes?
Andrea would know.
Sam Grant, yes. Might as well.
Well, I agree with taking no action, but
Yeah.
I know the way the article is written and it's been posted, yada, 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 that there is nothing that can be done to get it into our account. At the annual town meeting under old business and well, special within the annual,
Mhm.
there they could take money and reimburse the fund, but with what's printed here,
Mhm.
no, I don't, I'm absolutely sure.
okay, no, I understood it, and maybe it needs to, we were voting.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, you all agreed with that, that's fine, because I
no.
disagree. It's just
No,
I
it-
disagree.
And do we want to retract it and make it two separate motions? One related to Article 5, which is the reimbursement, working with town council to find a way so we take no action on this because it was paid, but then there's a second action to work with town council and see if there is a way when free cash is certified.
I would go with that.
Okay, so I guess, so we will rescind and do it. rescind the motion and the vote that was there. So we're gonna call back the motion on Article 5 that combined really two actions. And I guess we need a vote to,
Take no action on Article 5.
well,
And then,
well, I think we need to, because we were in process of voting
Mhm.
on a motion, and it was gonna pass, we need to take a vote to say that we want to recall that motion
Okay.
and
Come
replace
forward.
Okay, I make a motion that we retract the previous motion that we were in the process of voting on.
Okay. Do we have second?
Just retraction, Carolyn DeSickis.
Okay, so, so we had a motion to retract and a second. Any discussion?
No, I agree with what the discussion was.
Okay, so we will take a vote to retract our previous motion and move. And so we need a roll call vote on that. Just to be sure. So this is retracting and coming back to separate and have individual.
Mark Hussey, yes?
Carolyn DeSickis, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
John Hayes, yes. We retract and we're gonna start over. So this would be acting on Article 5 on its own, then the recommendation would be to take no action.
Yes, I make the recommendation that we take no action on Article 5.
Second,
Okay, so we are recommending no action on Article 5. And there's no further discussion or vote on taking no action on Article 5.
Carolyn DeSickis, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes?
Andrea Wood, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
And Don Hayes, yes, we'll go. Then do we want to make any kind of motion at this point related to Article 5, asking for town council's guidance for reimbursement into the reserve fund, because this article, we weren't sure whether it was going to be able to pass in time for the elevator and requirements, keep it running.
Well, we certainly can make it as an, like an asterisk, because it'll let everybody forewarned that what our intentions are to this article in continuance. When instead of saying, oh no, it's all set and done, they'd know right from the beginning that we intended to get the fund reimbursed if we could.
Okay.
But I don't think you have to make a motion on that. We've discussed it enough. I'll just put it in the notes.
Okay, so no vote on that, and we're good. Okay, then next article, Article 6, to see if the town will vote to appropriate from free cash and or other available funds from the treasury the sum of $29,000 for the purpose of paying unbudgeted increases to the town's general insurance costs, or take any action here too. So again, when the insurance and the budget were put together in April, May, we had an amount for the insurance, and when the actual bills came in, they were $29,000 higher.
So if we were to make a motion, it would be under contingency of free cash. We would recommend or not recommend. Am I correct?
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Is that how we might do it?
Yeah, I'd say we can put that as a caveat for above Article 5 to 11, and say for Articles 5.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Contingent on free cash,
Yeah,
these are our
okay,
recommendations.
so we can do that at the end.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, good.
Yeah, so in our sheet, we will say exactly that. So this would be, if we have free cash available, certified, we're looking for $29,000 to go to increase the general insurance costs. Do we have a motion to recommend?
I'll motion the Article 6 pass if free cash is available at the time.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mark to approve Article 6 and if the free cash is certified and available to move the $29,000 into the general insurance. Any additional discussion? None being heard. No questions? Roll call
Need
vote.
a second.
I'm sorry, I heard Geraldine second it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
No. It's a microphone pickup. I apologize for not stating that it was seconded.
Read the vote. Huh?
Yep, with that being said, roll call vote.
Gerald Bazika, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea would know.
Sam Grant, yes.
And John Hayes, yes. Okay, so that was 4-1, and I think one of the things that I would like to do in the notes this time is also put in what the finance committee vote was, not who or anything, just what the votes are, so that people see whether it's unanimous or whether we even have.
If it's all, I can put the votes in, that, no problem. But the, in the law, you can say who voted yes or no. You're not, in this kind of thing, you're not protected by
Okay.
a privacy vote. So, just so you know.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate it, but I think it's just more that, you know, people can see if we have, and, you know, whether things are.
Certainly. I think unless the selectmen are very prepared in the motion, which is really what you're voting on, this article is going to give them a lot of trouble, because if you look at it, you're spending, what is it, 28,000, 29,000? And there's not one specific thing named. I mean, we could all be going to Hawaii with this.
Okay. Okay, so are you thinking when we talk about putting it in the general insurance that we should be talking about the account that it's going to move to, so that they know specifically?
No, accounts 28,000, it's to pay unbudgeted increases. What are those unbudgeted increases and why? But that's up to the selectmen to provide. I don't think that's up to us to provide.
Okay. Okay, so when you're, okay, understood. It's kind of like, so, maybe I can do, yeah.
It's just way too broad.
Okay, so I get it. We're having we see the article. It's a single account. It's stating general. The item that we'd like to see is more specific. Is it, you know, when we talk general insurance cost, is it, you know, is it building insurance? Is it
Health insurance.
health insurance? Is it auto
Was it a
insurance?
last minute holiday? That's
Yeah.
why it's there. Why
Yeah.
is it
Yeah,
there?
exactly.
What happened?
Yep, and see if we've added anything. Okay, understood. We can go back and see if we can get any, see if we can ask them to be prepared with the.
Well, I certainly think that it will come up as a question on the floor.
Right.
Okay,
And like 7, there's no
Yeah.
question why
I was
that's.
gonna say
Right.
that's kind of a,
yeah, so Article 7 is to see if the town will vote to appropriate from free cash other available funds. the sum of $75,000 for paying unbudgeted increases in energy costs.
I think we all can understand this.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, but again, it doesn't talk about the accounts. Is it 75,000 just for
Is it gas or
facilities?
oil?
Or is it, so details behind these motions is necessary. We don't,
So do we want to make a recommendation without this?
we can, I
I
mean,
mean, I don't think we're gonna get it.
right, it sounded like, it's not likely to be here.
I
But,
mean, I can understand
we can-
everybody's
yeah,
electricity went up.
and heating costs are gonna go and, so, and that's gonna be everything in, vehicle gas, it just, everything went up. So we can, the motion could be to even not recommend, we don't recommend Article 7. Be
Because there's no
approved without-
data
There's
behind
no detail, yeah.
And we could pretty much say that with a lot of things. I
Yeah.
mean,
Number 8 should be good.
Yeah, so we can,
I have a question. If we make this recommendation sheet and we don't have any money,
Yeah.
when we have the money and they recall the meeting or set up another meeting
to address it when the.
to
when the
address
free
things, yeah. Will this recommendation sheet go away and we would have to provide, or would maybe we should provide a new one?
Once we see what the money is, because if free cash is certified at an amount less than needed to fund all of these items, we will be addressing, will.
Well, say it goes through and it's perfect. Is this is going to be our recommendation sheet no matter what? We'll have to do a new one for it because we
Yeah.
didn't take no action, which by the time the new, we get around to the actual meeting, the take no action may no longer be valid. I mean, maybe we can take an action.
Right, okay, yep, no, understood. So maybe it's back to, a bit, we come back and look at the articles that are contingent on free cash and say we take no action on Articles 5 through 11 until free cash is certified, until such time free cash is certified, and then we will look at and make recommendations.
That sounds good. To me, that sounds good.
Okay, how about here, okay,
so we have to, do we take back Article 6?
we would then need to take back Article 6.
But
Yeah.
5 would stay the same,
Um,
because there's no action anyways.
there's no action anyway. Yep,
You know what, that makes a lot of sense.
okay.
Unfortunately, we did
Yep.
one, but
Yeah,
I
no,
think, I think
I
what's
think,
the talk, what we're talking now makes
Yep.
a lot of sense.
well, makes a lot more sense. Okay, then that's what I will entertain a motion for the Finance Committee recommending take no action on Articles 5 through 11 until such time that free cash is certified and we have more detail around these articles and can apply it to and see the actual impact on budget.
Do we rescind Article 6 first?
I think
Or is that,
I think we can probably go with that if we preface it with all previous votes
yeah,
will be overridden with take no action for Articles 5 through 11 until such time that free cash is certified. And we will go back and revisit all votes taken prior.
What about Article 8?
Article 8 is still taking free cash.
Oh, that was a contract.
That was a contract, yeah, Article 8 is a contract. but they're still looking for it, and to pay it out of free cash,
No,
it's sort of an outstanding bill, and until they would come to us and ask us to do it.
this is above and beyond the contract that was written?
This is above and beyond the contract that was written, so there was a $35
No,
35,000.
35,000.
It was written as an estimate in an hourly contract to do the work. When they actually came in and it wasn't a not to exceed 35,000. It was based on our expectation and hours of work. We expected to be about $35,000.
The
But we
contract
agreed.
that he printed,
Mhm.
which came in like a form, well, almost like a letter from Melanson and Heath, said that the accounting services may vary amount to amount depending on who, which member of the
Which
staff
member?
was
They
doing
had-
it by their rate. But then it said at the end, not to exceed $35,000. It absolutely said that. Not greater than. So I asked Eric to post it,
Yeah.
and it was posted on the website, and that's where I read it, and that's how I know. It wasn't word of mouth from someone. I actually read it
Yeah.
myself.
You read the contract in itself, and it said not to exceed. And
And at the selectmen's meeting on Tuesday, Terry had the same impression I did, the same thing, but she went with what Eric said anyway, like we did last time. But I'm no lawyer, certainly not a contract lawyer,
right,
so
yeah.
I don't know.
So
I don't know
need to-
what part or how. A lot of times
Mm-hmm.
it's the way it's phrased or worded
Mhm.
that this thing overrides that thing or it doesn't count. So, maybe we do owe that money. I don't know.
Yeah, it would seem that we may have an invoice for it, and Melanson is looking for it, so we can question that. Article 8, if it is an invoice that has to be paid and we haven't had free cash certified, I would say that I don't like it, but there's still that amount in stabilization, in the reserve fund, if we had an absolute need to pay a bill that we were gonna be in default and put a small claims court on in order to pay, so we can, I think Article 8 just works with there, but we have the additional, when we get to it, we can provide additional questions for these articles for details behind them. Okay, I don't recall whether we got a motion to take no action and revisit all votes from Article 5 through 11 that may have been taken.
If not, I'll make the motion that we take no action on Articles 5 through 11 at this time until free cash can be certified.
Okay, so we have a motion to take no action on Articles 5 to 11. Do we have a second?
Second,
Second by Geraldine. Any further discussion? At this point, then I will take a roll call vote.
Gerald Seegers, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes?
Andrea Wood, yes?
Sam Grant, yes.
On Hayes, yes, so unanimous. We have no action taken on 5 to 11. Okay, so Article 12 is not from free cash. Article 12 is to see if the town will vote to transfer from sales of lots of cemetery fund the sum of $15,000 for the purpose of ongoing upgrades, maintenance, and repairs to the cemeteries and other related expenses, or take any action thereto. So, any questions on the article and what the intent is? Any discussion?
This is something that we're going to recommend. Go
At this point, yeah, I would look for a,
I'll make a motion that we recommend Article 12 as written.
Second,
okay, so we had a motion to recommend this, article, the town meeting, and a second.
I did second.
Yeah, and Geraldine seconded. Do we, if there's no additional discussion, a roll call vote, please?
Gerald Mazeikis, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
Don Hayes, yes. So we unanimous on that. And we do have a guest that's in for the next meeting. And his articles are just now approaching. Article 13, to see if the town will if the town will vote to reallocate the $25,000 voted under Article 12 of the May 3rd, 2022 annual meeting. The water department pipe fusing machine to water enterprise retained earnings. And that changes to the water department dump trailer for $15,000 and the ground penetrating radar unit for $10,000. So this is a reallocation of $25,000 voted for the pipe fusing machine for two other purposes for the water department.
Do you want a motion?
It's kind of like it's relatively straightforward, but I just want to make sure if there's any questions or discussion.
I think Sam's feeding the dog.
Nothing being heard. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to reallocate $25,000.
So recommend that we reallocate. Okay, and do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Mark Hersey has seconded. One last, any further discussion before a vote? None being heard. I would like a roll call vote, please.
Gerald Mazeikis, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
And Don Hayes, yes. Okay, Article 14, to see if the town will vote to reallocate $2,797.37, a portion of the sum voted on Article 12 at the May 3rd annual meeting, from the 36-inch water printer scanner, water enterprise from, and the funding source at the time was Water Enterprise retained earnings, and is now going to additional funds for the ground penetrating radar unit for $2,797.37. And it's the same Water Enterprise retained earnings funding source. So between the two, it sounds like the ground penetrating radar unit is $12,797. And they're using two funding sources to pay for it. Any questions on the intent? No questions, then do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to reallocate the $2,797.37.
Okay, so we
Look, plotting scanner to the ground penetrating radar unit.
okay,
I will second that.
okay, we had a second from Mark Hussey. The roll call vote, please.
Gerald Mazeikis, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Oh, Sam, you're back on mute. Yep, there you go. Thank
Sam
you.
Grant, yes.
Thank you, and Don Hayes, yes. And our guest left the room. Okay. Article 15, to see if the town will vote to transfer from Water Enterprise retained earnings the sum of $5,000 for the purpose of paying the remaining purchase price. So I was wrong. There's a third article.
Yeah,
I'm
We're
missing
gonna,
one. I-
so the ground penetrating unit was total of $17,797. So this is the third funding source to pay for the ground penetrating unit. And this is again from Water Enterprise earnings, so there is no town, there's no additional real estate taxes. This is taken from the Water Enterprise fund, so the water takers are paying for this from their enterprise earning account. Any questions? Discussion? None being heard, do we have a motion to recommend this article?
Make a motion to recommend this article for remaining earnings. It's over $5,000.
And a
I
second,
will second that.
we had a motion by Geraldine and a second by Mark Hussey. If there's no additional discussion or questions, a roll call vote, please.
Gerald Mazeikis, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
John Hayes, yes. And Article 16, to see if the town will vote to transfer from Water Enterprise retained earnings the sum of $50,000 to repair and maintain the SCADA supervisory control and data acquisition system, to take any other action there too. So. Again, it looks like they have equipment that is in need of repair, and they're looking to transfer $50,000 from the retained earnings fund to repair it. Any questions or discussion? Do we have a motion to approve or recommend Article 16?
I'll make a motion that the Water Enterprise retained earnings in the sum of $50,000 be transferred as in Article 16.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we had a motion by Mark Hussey, seconded by Geraldine. There's no further discussion, and none being heard. Roll call vote, please.
Gerald Mazeikis, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
Don Hayes, yes. And that would, the next articles, get into bylaws, and there's not necessarily a financial impact. Some of them have fines, but we don't generally discuss or make recommendations as to amounts of fines or where it goes. So we'll leave. That would be Article 17, Article 18, and Article 19, which is the end of the warrant. So. If there's. Okay, so in my history with it, there's no, we take no action on them and just indicate that on our recommendation sheet. So I don't think we need votes on it.
Maybe we shouldn't put no action,
Okay, yeah,
but should put no opinion.
okay, yep. Okay. If I could get my. I was gonna say if I could get it, yeah, so no opinion, or, yeah. I had some other words that I used, but I understand. Yeah, no,
It'd be Articles 17 through 19.
17 through 19, yeah.
Do we need a motion?
I don't think we,
Okay.
unless we want to make it, just get it on record that because there are bylaw changes, they're making,
I don't think we have.
no opinion. We're making, on our recommendation sheet, we'll put no opinion
Right.
on there, so maybe that's.
Which doesn't mean personally you can't have an opinion, and you can
Yeah.
Right.
read every article if you wish. We just have no business as a committee doing it.
Right, and if they have no, do we even need to vote on that? Or address them? We're not gonna address them, but we can do the motion and vote that we're not gonna.
I think it, right, where Andrea had recommended, that on our recommendation sheet, that we put no opinion, maybe that's the motion
Enough.
for it, yeah, or, that we all agree that there's no opinion will be posted
Yeah.
from the finance committee. I think that's fine. I
Yeah.
don't think we need to take action on articles or votes.
Exactly.
Okay, now, go back to agenda. Things open. Their meeting is 6. So, we're running just a little late. I'll make this quick. We've discussed the next, so the next item on the agenda is prepare the recommendation sheet, which I'm taking the action for, and I'll work with Andrea just to make sure we go back and forth with what we've discussed tonight, make sure everything matches. And we'll prepare that recommendation sheet for the town meeting and pass it out with the packets as people enter. The next items we have would be scheduling the next meeting dates. We are approaching budget season, so we need to prepare out. So if possible, I'd like to schedule, look at maybe a meeting in December before the holidays and then into January.
Okay. All on Tuesday, 4:00, right?
We still do 4, and as Eric indicated, he enjoys the Tuesday because it gives him one long night in town.
Right,
Because he's in town with, yeah, he's in town for the Board of Selectmen meeting and then can stay. So, if we do Tuesdays, next week is the town meeting, so we'll ask from the finance committee, who plans to attend the finance, or the town meeting and be at the finance committee table,
I'll be there.
I'm gonna be pretty doubtful.
okay?
Well, I couldn't really decide whether I'd be there or not because we weren't there was going to be no action, but I'll be there.
I'll pick you up,
Okay.
Andrea.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and I'll be there, and Sam, you're gonna,
When is there?
town meeting, town meeting in the, Great Hall, next Tuesday at 7 PM.
Not during the flu season. Thank you very much for the invite.
Okay, no,
But
just wanted
we've had to
make sure.
cancel some other important events for the same reason, although not as important as this, they were still important. And basically
then-
back in lockdown until the flu gets under control out here.
Mhm. Okay, then, and
Three.
yeah, that gets us to, the next meeting would be, the next week would be the 20th. Is everybody available on the 20th? And what we can do at that point is determine what our training would be for the new software and the schedule for meetings as we get into January. I think we can keep it light at that point, and if anything comes up with reserve fund transfers, we'll be there to address them.
I can be there on the 20th.
Okay,
20th at what, 4?
4, yeah,
Yeah, I think I can. do
Unless
that.
an emergency comes up, I'd be glad to.
okay. And Andrea?
Yep.
Okay, then I will set the requests out for December 20th and find a location and a Zoom. And I'm sorry we ran over Hartley, but I will entertain a motion to adjourn at 5:37.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
And a roll call
Aye
vote.
for it.
Geraldine Bezikas,
Mark Hussey?
Andrea Wood.
Sam Grant.
Okay, Don Hayes, aye, and so I.
You on the
thank all
20th,
for-
4 PM.
I'm 20th, and for those that said the 13th, we'll see you at town meeting.
okay.
Thank you all, appreciate it.